Mike, you were down at the coast at the weekend.
I was indeed.
I was your host, and you enjoyed
Very lovely part of the world, I have to say. I mean, I only passed through Portsmouth, of course, the previous week when we went across to the Isle of Wight.
Yes.
And then I came back sort of rather hurriedly through it on Tuesday night.
Yes.
But I got a chance to spend a bit more time there.
Yes.
You know, staggering about the, well, when I say staggering, because I don't mean that literally.
No.
But going to all these different little pubs and
Yeah, on the
hostelries
coast
around
there.
the coast. And,
Yeah.
you know, on one side of the harbour there's Portsmouth, the other side is Gosport,
that's right,
where your
that's it.
place is.
Yeah,
And it was very, very nice.
Yes.
A bit wet.
Yes.
The weather wasn't great.
Well, nothing you can do about that. That's rain.
Nothing you
comes
do
out
about
the sky.
that. But it was generally speaking, you know, the idea was, you know, for anybody who wants to wonder why after what happened on Friday on the show, when you were disgracefully trying to besmirch the good name of my dead father, why on earth I would even want to spend any time with you at all.
Yes,
it was kind of an olive branch that you were holding out to me to say, well, since you've got to go to the Isle of Wight anyway to pick up the kids on Saturday morning, why not spend an evening with me in Portsmouth, which I decided to do. Now, you very kindly drove me down there in your very nice Jag, which was quite an experience.
Yeah.
And we got down there, and I was all geared up for a night out, and there was a great firework display, actually, from your window. I did see the famous Porky Parry penthouse.
Yeah, that's right.
It is very much, as you said, very well pointed, in a very nice exclusive block.
Well,
and there, outside the window, was the Ark Royal, as you often said.
Absolutely.
And right above it, there was some big firework display because it was something to do with Trafalgar, the anniversary of the Battle of Trafalgar.
Yeah, well,
as we later found out.
Yeah, absolutely. But
However, there was one particular problem.
And what's that?
Well, because I thought I was staying at your place, right? That was the idea.
What gave you that impression?
Well, because you gave me the impression I was coming down to Portsmouth to stay with you.
Well, I mean, I didn't mean literally in my abode.
Well, I assumed that you would.
I don't take scruffy old people in. Not that you're a scruffy old person, but I mean, you know, I'm a little reluctant, Mike, to allow you the free running of...
Yeah, but you didn't really make that clear, okay?
Well, I thought it was perfectly clear.
The more I thought about it later, the more I thought, well, this is very, very strange, because it was only when we got to the actual ferry, because the ferry that runs from Gosport to Portsmouth, and it's a pedestrian ferry, it was only when we got to that ferry that I realised that I wasn't going to stay with you, by which time it was about 9 o'clock at night, because there I was, standing at the ticket office, and you said, don't worry, I'll get these, and you asked for a round-trip ticket for yourself, and when you pointed at me, he said he only needs a single. You can't get a single. Well, no, you said to the guy, you will have a single. No, you're trying to bring it up. You can't. So it was only then I said, well, I thought, ticket. Well, no, it wasn't. I said, well, excuse me, I thought I was staying at your place. And you said, no, it'd be easier if you stay in a hotel. Well, that was like, oh, great. So not only have you spent the entire day, you know, ripping apart whatever, you know, faith I had in my father after the whole Jackie Graham episode, and I still don't believe that was the real Jackie Graham, by the way, but we'll talk about that another time. And I suddenly thought, you know, when I was in your flat, there was sort of a few clues about it as well, which later occurred to me. For example, you showed me into a room which you claimed as the second bedroom. Right?
Well, it's my office, really.
And it was your office. Yes. And you said, and there's a couch there. And normally, if somebody
stays
with me,
couch.
I fold that out. Right?
Yeah, pulls
and
out the king-size
I suppose
bed.
had it been folded out, I might have realised that that's where I was staying. But then I realised that's where it wasn't. And then there was a couple of other kind of curiosities about the general tour of your place, where there was 2 rooms that you wouldn't let me into. There was a couple of doors that were locked. I don't know what was behind those doors. Yes. And I can only assume you didn't want me staying there in case I, for some reason, discovered what was behind those doors.
Nothing at all. Nothing at all.
Well, why are the doors locked?
No, the doors weren't locked, Mike. That's your imagination. One of them was probably the door to the airing cupboard, right?
Oh, yeah.
And the other one was
who have you got in there, then?
Nobody. The other was probably the boiling room. The third one might have been my walk-in closet. I mean...
Yeah, I never saw the walk-in closet.
Well, you should...
Well, have you got things in there you don't want me to see?
Well, what does anybody want to see inside a walk-in closet
Well, if I'm shown around somebody's, you know, luxurious
mate,
I like to see
closet.
all of it.
Oh, look, there's the chairs that we use out on the balcony. There's the table we use out on the balcony. Oh, look, here's the last year's Christmas tree.
Well, there must be a reason why you've got the place locked up.
You must have a really sad life if you... No, it's not locked up.
No, I'm just curious. I mean, it was a very nice flat, I must say. As I said, it was everything that you promised it would be. I should tell everybody, for those who like to follow these things, wore your outdoor slippers.
You certainly did, yeah. You wanted to go out onto the balcony.
Because I wanted a cigarette.
For a cigarette, which... and
obviously I didn't smoke inside, which is fair enough.
Absolutely. And
you said, well, make sure you put them on. And you are quite weird, because when I came back in...
I'm quite weird.
When I came back in from the balcony, which wasn't in the rain or anything... You said to me, make sure you take them off on the mat. There's a little mat there.
That's right.
So that I could take the slippers off before I came again, because you also made me take my shoes off at the door.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that, mate. That's called, it's called good
manners. But I just found it very odd that why didn't you just tell me before we left here? By the way, it'd be easier if you get a hotel room.
Hang on. I put you up in the Holiday Inn. Now,
well, out of guilt by the end of it.
No,
you
out
paid
of
for
guilt.
it,
Not out of guilt.
You paid for it.
No. I said
because you felt guilty.
I said, look, you're my guest down here, mate. and you're very welcome indeed. And we went back to my place, a few sherbets, then we went out for dinner.
Yeah.
And you, the next morning, I think you'll find, had to get to the terminal to meet your family off the ferry to Isle of Wight.
Yeah.
Had you wanted to stay at my place, had I decided you could stay at my place, then we would have both had a trip right back across the harbour.
Why would we both have it?
Because if you were coming back to my place, we had to get on a boat and go back.
Yeah.
And by the way, the ferry's closed by then, the passenger ferry. It's a river boat
it's not.
then. It's a river taxi.
No, they told us in the hotel it was open till 5 in the morning.
It's a river taxi, believe me. So the ferry goes, I think, about midnight, whatever. Anyway, the point of my story is this.
No, the point is these are all just excuses.
No.
I want to know why
the following morning,
why couldn't I have stayed there?
I'd have had to have got you out of bed, fat lump that you are in the mornings, obviously. Got you into a shower and out again, then got you down, then got you back across the... What was the point? When I, said, listen, Mike, the best thing really from a practical point of view is you stay on holiday in here and you're a few minutes walk away from the terminal. What's wrong
I think
with
the trouble is you've now become such a confirmed bachelor that
Yeah.
you can't handle having anybody staying there overnight.
That's not the case
When
at
was
all.
the last time somebody stayed there overnight?
Stayed...
It's not a hard question.
Not very long ago. My
What?
sister and brother-in-law have been there. That's not a problem.
So you put them up there?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
So it was only family then?
Well, I wasn't there at the time. I was at the World Cup in South
so
Africa.
so when nobody's there, people can stay?
Well,
But when you're there,
if they're my family members,
no,
obviously.
I don't think you let people stay there.
No. It's
I
not
think
like
you've got
that at all.
strange things that you keep there that you
rubbish.
don't want anyone to discover.
Utter nonsense.
I don't know what those things would be.
I think you're talking garbage as usual.
I
Listen,
was quite offended.
listen. I'm going to tell you something now. We've got very exciting